Hi, and welcome all to session 2, where we're focusing on the teachers. So I'm Shireen from Egypt, and the Imam will be hosting this session. We are both JKU students. And yeah, so maybe we can start. So each one will have a 10 minutes talk and then 10 minutes discussion. All right. And I think the
Yes.
first presenter will be Imam. So if you can kindly share your screen.
Okay, thank you, Sally.
Welcome.
Uh, in a moment. Yes. Can you see now the presentation?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present the preliminary findings of my PhD research. The title of my presentation is user-generated microgame for facilitating learning, and I will focus on the Southeast Asian elementary teachers' preferences. And this presentation will also be kind of a micro presentation. I mean, this presentation will be very short. And my name is Imam Fitri Rahmadi, a PhD student at Johannes Kepler Universität in Austria. Let's start with the background. First of all, the potential of user-generated microgame are not yet completely understood because previous studies work with more general serious game or even with micro game, but the game were created by publishers or paid professional. Well, in my case, the micro game were created by users or people in general on the open platform like GeoGebra. And second, there are some barriers to more general serious game integration, including but not limited to long duration gameplay, minimum technologies in schools, and lack of teachers' innovativeness. In addition, further exploring games for learning is of importance to provide more rigorous evidence because the effectiveness of games on the effectiveness of game-based learning cannot be proved by just one or by a single study. The aim of the study was therefore to explore the teacher's preferences in harnessing user-generated microgame for supporting learning. And the question is, what are the preferences? Regarding the methodology, the study was exploratory research within an online workshop for Southeast Asian elementary teachers. It is an online asynchronous feedback was used to collect the data. I use online questionnaires in Google Form to gather the data. And this is the profile of teachers involved in this study. There are 33 teachers, male and female, participated in this study, and the majority of teachers aged between 25 and 55 years old. And no teachers has a doctorate educational background, but almost 40% of them own master degree, and most of them have 5 to 15 years teaching experiences. And the vast majority of teachers come from Indonesia who teach in public elementary school at high grade from grade 4 to 6, while the rest come from Brunei, Laos, Myanmar, Philippines, and Thailand. Regarding the result, these are the teacher preferences in using user-generated microgame for supporting learning. First, over 40% of the teachers would like to integrate user-generated microgame in the middle of the main session. So this is the main preferences of the teacher, and the purpose are to lift up atmosphere, refresh student mind, and reflect as well as practice learning materials. This percentage is followed by one set of the teacher who tend to mix between two scenarios in terms of appreciation, reflection, and evaluation of learning. And in the rest two scenarios, there is a shared percentage of teachers' tendency in utilizing user-generated microgame for supporting learning. The reasons, the purpose to use the game in the beginning of the main session is to attract attention, motivate students, and increase their interest. And finally, the purpose to use the game at the end of the main session is to refresh student mind, motivate student, and also to evaluate their understanding. Turning to the discussion, I would like to reflect to the Myers theory about cognitive and non-cognitive consequences from learning by games. First is about the cognition. So game-based learning or games can contribute to learning about the cognition that make the learning more active, real, and direct. And the second common contribution of educational game to learning is about motivation. So the learning usually more motivating and engaging if facilitated by games. And this study revealed that teachers' purpose of integrating user-generated microgame is more related to motivation and less attention to cognition. To conclude, I would repeat that the main preferences is to use user-generated microgame in the middle, where the main purpose is to motivate students. These are the references. Thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing your feedbacks.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a great talk.
Yes, a short talk.
Maybe
less than 10 minutes.
Yes, it is 6 minutes. So, do you have any questions to Imam?
Hello?
Yes.
I'd like to ask you a question. Are there any example of these micro games?
Actually, yes, but I missed to put the link. I can put the link in the chat now.
Okay.
I have the collection of micro game, especially for elementary school level on GeoGebra, and I will put it soon in the chat.
Thank you very much.
I have a question too. Hi, Imam. Nice to see you again, virtually.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask you said user-generated games. So do students or pupils also have to develop games, or are they provided by the teacher, and are the teachers the users who develop games for their lessons?
Do you mean this question is in the case of my study?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, in my study, I don't create the games or even the student, but the game were created by users in open platform, and in my study is on the GeoGebra. So the creators are GeoGebra users that can be everyone or maybe teacher, and you also, I believe, have GeoGebra account.
Okay, okay. And you only focus on math education or different subjects?
Currently, I focus on the math education and for elementary schools, and to be focused again for the grade 4 to 6.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So I have a question, Imam. So do you evaluate the games with a questionnaire after they do the games, or how do you take their data? How do you gather your data? So if these users, after they implement the games on JJ, so how can
Okay.
you, yeah, just,
This data was gathered after the workshop. So I gave workshop last year on October, and I invite the teachers to play the games during the workshops, and then following the workshop, I gave them questionnaire and they filled my questionnaires.
yeah, perfect.
That's it.
So there's a question from Fadlan. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, Mr. Imam. How are you? Nice to
Fine,
meet you.
thanks.
Okay. Are there a difference related to student cognition and motivation in different classes? And have you ever measured the contribution of game at the beginning, middle, and the end of the lesson? The contribution to the learning outcome, something like that.
Okay, thank you for your questions, but unfortunately, sorry, I don't have any data about this because I'm in the very beginning of my PhD journey, and will do the teaching and learning exploration with user-generated microgames next. No. Actually, this year because of the corona, I don't know when I can do it. And as you may know, in Indonesia, the school is still closed and no face-to-face learning, so it's quite difficult for me to get the real data from the classroom.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you also for your questions.
So any other questions? So we can move to Zaira. Zaira from Spain.
Thank you, Sharon, and thank you for everyone
Thank you,
for your
ma'am.
question and your feedback.
Thank you, ma'am. So maybe you can kindly share your screen.
Yeah, I'm on. No, it's okay.
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So, I'm Zaira from the University of Cantabria. I am doing my PhD under the supervision of Professor Diego Mantecón. And the title of my talk is Preserves Early Childhood Teachers and Multi-Digit Division Problems, a Strategy Choice Approach. I am going to explain why I have chosen this topic. Although in preschool education, formal division is not introduced, sharing problems or sharing situations are important in this stage. And thus, I assume that teachers must have a basic knowledge on divisions. In addition, in different countries, as for example Spain, a person who holds a degree in early childhood education can become a mathematics teacher in the primary education. So we assume that these teachers are going to teach formal divisions, maybe is going to teach formal divisions. And finally, we have identified that there is a need to evaluate the knowledge and solving strategies that preserves early childhood teachers have in division. As far as we know, there aren't, or there wasn't a previous study evaluating this. So, first of all, I have identified in the literature the strategies that children employ when solving division problems. We have identified number-based strategies and digit-based strategies. This has distinguished, for example, by Hickendorf et al. In a recent study. Number-based strategy respect the place value of the numbers, while digit-based strategies don't consider the place value. We have identified different number-based strategies, as for example, I am going to give an example of the different strategies with the operation 288 divided by 6. We have, for example, sequential strategies where we that is based on an additive reasoning. The decomposing strategies where the dividend is decimally split and then we can reach the solution. The varying strategies that usually involve adapting numbers to facilitate the operations, and the column-based strategies that is very similar to the sequential strategies, but with a vertical schematic notation. This strategy is not, for example, usually teach in the Spanish context. And then we have the digit-based strategies where we include the traditional algorithm. The traditional algorithm varies cross-culturally. And here, for example, I show the notation that we employ in the Spanish context. We have the dividend on the left, the divisor is in, like we say, a box on the right, and then we have the quotient on the right also, and the remainder of the operation. So the main objectives of this first study of my PhD was to identify the strategies that pre-service early childhood teachers employ when solving multi-digit division problems, and identify the errors that they make when dealing with multi-digit division problems. We consider a sample of 104 Spanish pre-service early childhood teachers. The majority of them were women with age between 19 and 23 years old. We consider a mixed method approach, and as data collection methods, we employ a questionnaire with 3 division problems, and we interspersed 3 non-division problems to reduce the likelihood to guess the operation in the division, that the operation in the problem was a division. And we also employ cognitive interviews. I am going to show you one of the problems. For example, a grandfather wants to distribute his inheritance of 3,010 euros equally among his 3 grandchildren. How much money will each heir receive? And our results suggest or indicate that about 75% try to employ the traditional algorithm. All the subjects who employ the traditional algorithm are able to approach correctly the problem. However, more than a half of the subjects are not able to execute properly the division. We can see here some errors. For example, here we can see that they forget a 0 in the quotient, or here we can see that they add a 0 in the quotient, but in their partial remainder, sorry, but they don't finish the division. In addition, we have identified also that some pre-service teachers that correctly execute the operation are not able to provide a contextualized solution, as for example this response, where the subject suggests that each heir will receive a recurring amount of money. So in total, the problem was achieved by about 37% of the subjects who employ the traditional algorithm. Other strategy that tried to use was the decomposing strategy, almost 20%. All of them correctly approached the problem. In this case, they try to they solve the division executing 3,000 by 3 divided by 3 and 10 divided by 3, and all of them were able to give a correct solution. However, the majority of them again indicated that every heir will receive a recurring amount of money. So in total, about 35% achieve an acceptable solution. And finally, other teachers have to try to employ, an algebraic strategy. None of them were able to correctly approach the problem. For example, we can see here how they try to solve it with a rule of three or cross multiplication product, and they didn't try to solve it. So none of them achieve a correct solution. This is part of this study is part of the first part of my thesis, or one of the problems. And now I want to continue evaluating division. So I have planned to evaluate the pre-service teachers' conceptual knowledge on division. And also we are living in the digital era, so I have to incorporate also technology in my PhD. So I will try to evaluate the impact of technology when solving division tasks. So many thanks to, here you can see the bibliography. Today I have presented one of the problems that has been already presented in, published in a journal. And many thanks to all of you for your attention. And if you have any question, of course, they are welcome. Many thanks.
Thank you, Zaira, for the great presentation. It was very concrete.
Sorry?
So it's really nice. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
So does anyone have any questions to Zaira?
So the question, please, Serin.
Yes, sure.
What is the reason that you work with pre-service teachers, not in-service?
I have chosen pre-service teachers because we are teaching at the university also, so it's for us, and with the pandemic situation, it's more easy to access to pre-service teachers rather than in-service teachers. That this year with the pandemic situation is rather difficult, as you have mentioned.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Zaira. Nice to meet you here.
Yeah, nice to.
So I may have a question. When you said that you want to test which technology would fit for this algorithmic operations, so what do you have in mind as a technology to implement to represent this division?
I am thinking about a questionnaire with some tasks related to conceptual knowledge and, for example, division properties, and also some problems where they have to where they can employ mobile phones or calculators or the computer, and for example, trying to ask them problems where the solution is not the quotient. Maybe, for example, the remainder, so I can evaluate if they are able to now the remainder of a division without, with technology, because sometimes there is a functioning calculators, but they are not usually taught at the school. So I suppose that they don't know that this function exists. So they are going to try to use it by performing the fundamental relation of division.
I have a question too.
Sure.
Is this study only about the teacher knowledge, or are you going to study how the teacher explained the algorithm of division to the student?
I will try to explain the knowledge because there aren't a lot of studies evaluating the knowledge of pre-service early childhood teachers, but I would like to do your idea, to develop your idea in the future. In fact, it was my first idea. So.
Interesting.
But as I have evaluated early childhood, in the early childhood stage, they are not, for some of them, they are going to teach the algorithm, but some of them, they are not going to teach the algorithm. But your idea is very nice for me.
Great. Any other questions?
Any questions again? To Zaira.
Many thanks to all of you for your questions and also to the Johannes Kepler University for this opportunity. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much, Zaira, for your presentation. I believe I have to take the chair, or you want to chair yourself, Serin?
You can do it.
Okay.
Also, time, please.
Now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Imam. Okay, so I will share. So can you see now my screen?
Yes.
I trouble with the
Okay, no problem.
Okay. So today I will be discussing the Saqqara step pyramid as a use case, as a mathematical modeling architecture use case. So in this research, I'm trying to connect math to architecture, to culture and history. We want to allow teachers to tell a story while using mathematics and to allow students to learn by modeling or by creation. So this is the aim of the study. And the idea behind the research is to represent the architectural models using various technologies that can cover the digital and physical representations to facilitate the modeling, emphasizing on the mathematical knowledge itself. So the architecture can be various from ancient architecture to modern architecture to inventing their own architecture or their own models. So we want to know by the teacher's choice of the architecture itself how this reflects on the cultural and the historical backgrounds. And as you can see here on the right side, the digital representation of the architectural models can be GeoGebra 2D or 3D, augmented reality, virtual reality, 3D scanning. And on the other hand, the physical representation of these architectural models can be using 3D printing, origami, or 4D frames. The steps of my research, I want to implement a design-based research. And in the literature review, I have to focus on certain concepts like the technologies and the technological tools I'm presenting, also the mathematical modeling and the lesson planning, also the theoretical models, of course, that can help and focus and guide this research. The methods I will be using in collecting the data will be the semi-structured interviews for the teachers, the questionnaires for the teachers and the students along the intervention, and the mathematical analysis of the architectural models that can result from the students' projects, so after the modeling. And the design-based research cycles, it's a recursive way, and I want to analyze the data I gather as a first stage, monitor the intervention with the teachers, and know how successful they are by the questionnaires I'm doing along the whole process, by the teacher improvement before and after the intervention, from the technological perspective, what technologies did they learn and know how to apply in the classroom, and also from the mathematical modeling exercises. I want to also to enhance the lesson planning in each cycle, make and reformulate the research structure, of course, and then reorient the research directions and finally move to the next cycle and so on. The research question I have in mind so far, and of course to be changed later on, but this is the initial one I have. So basically the variables I want to test from the research are I want to see the teacher understanding of the proposed lesson plan. How do teachers tell a story and combine it to mathematical knowledge of the students? How do teachers use the proposed technologies and which one works best in terms of the modeling? How do teachers reflect on the cultural historical connection while choosing the architectural model itself? And from this, I would like to talk more about theory. There's a lot of theoretical models that can apply, and I'm still investigating in them, but currently I find one which is very relevant to what I want to do, which is the TPAC. And as you can see, the TPAC is a collection of three main components, which is the pedagogical knowledge, the content knowledge, and the technological knowledge. And when all these spheres intersect together, they result in the upmost, which is we call the TPAC framework of this research. So if we have a closer look on each component of the TPAC, for example, the content knowledge, this can be reflected of the modeling itself. So which mathematical concept do they want to apply while they're modeling? So which architectural model did they choose? For example, if they want to reflect on the symmetry, then they have to choose architectural model that would reflect on this mathematical concept. On the other hand, the PK, oops, sorry. The PK, which would refer to the different options of the lesson plan, the categories that can be offered to the teachers to combine. For example, if they want to follow the inquiry-based learning while they're doing the modeling, so rather than giving instructions to the students, they would just let them to discover it. So this is the pedagogical way, or how will the teachers represent this knowledge to the students. The third circle, which is the technological knowledge, which would refer to the various technologies I'm presenting in my research that can have, and we want to see by comparison and by applying most of these technologies, which one would fit most best for visualizing the architectural models. And on the other hand, while maintaining the pedagogical objectives of the teachers. Now looking on the intersection of each circle with another, so the pedagogical content knowledge, which is the PCK, which will arise when the mathematical modeling of the specified ancient architecture or mathematical concept architectural would combine with the pedagogical knowledge and how to present this data, which results in, for example, in the inquiry-based learning or instructional. On the other hand, the intersection between the PK and the TK, which is the technological pedagogical knowledge, which is, for example, which technology would serve best in this learning technique. For example, AR for outdoor, VR for indoor environments, or for example, origami for indoor, or augmented reality for the museum's interventions, as an example. Now, the last intersection, which is the CK and the TK, which would result in the technological content knowledge, which can be evolved when we figure out that, for example, showing symmetry would be best done in the 2D modeling rather than the 3D. This is only as an example. For example, when we say that origami as a technology is best fit when we want to represent ancient architectural models, because then we can use the, for example, papyrus papers or something to give the impression of the ancient architecture. So in GeoGebra, for example, we can't provide textures for models, so we can have an alternative technology to represent this content that we want to give to the students. Now, fusing all this together, the TPAC of this research, which is the intersection point of the three spheres together, and that would study that visited all the three aspects of the touching points that lead to a study that can recommend which technology and tools can fit for the best environments chosen, which is the content knowledge, allowing teachers to present certain mathematical, cultural, historical contents in the most relevant pedagogical way of the teachers they want to choose from. I've done some piloting with my research so far. So let's take the step pyramid as a use case of this pilot. It's an ancient pyramid. It's a step pyramid, ancient pyramid in Egypt. We will now discover the physical representation of this pyramid. For example, if we represent it in origami, It was represented by an 8-year student who got inspired by the idea. And as you can see, the sketches of his idea was represented here in his notebook before starting with representing it in origami. Another example is the building blocks. Although this wasn't one of the technologies I offered in the lesson plan, but a 5-year-old student got inspired by the idea of the step pyramid and he chose his own way of visualization, and it worked fine for a 5-year-old or a kindergarten level, so as to say. Another aspect that can be represented is the 3D printing. As you can see here, the 3D printing of the Saqqara pyramid is a step pyramid. And now moving to the digital representations. So the GeoGebra, in GeoGebra we can model, as you can see on the right hand, in the 2D with drawing the squares and then extruding it in the 3D, and this would result in the 3D modeling. And also representing it in augmented reality from the mobile app, where you can switch between the 3D view and the AR view. And it can be represented also as a digital representation, the AR of the step pyramid. And finally, it's a call for collaboration, because I want to gather teachers from very diverse backgrounds and cultures, because this would help me a lot. So I don't want to focus only on the Egyptians or the ancient Egyptian architecture. Rather, I would like to visit a very wide spectrum or a diverse ancient or architectural models from all over the world. So if anyone is interested as a teacher or knows someone that he could be interested, then you can write me. So thank you all for your attention, and if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Sherin, for your very interesting presentation and also very nice slides.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions?
I did not miss the time.
So, Sherin, we are on time. Take it easy, Sherin. Okay, any questions? Maybe I'm going to start to ask you, Sherin.
Yes, sure.
Your topic is very interesting, and I also work on that theory. But actually, your focus is on the students or on the teachers?
On both.
On both.
As we discussed yesterday, so this is the dilemma. At first, I wanted to focus on students, but I have to reach students through the teachers. So I'm currently focusing on the teacher, but as Clemens yesterday discussed, that we can shift the focus in each cycle. So I would like to capture this cultural reflection through both eyes, through the teacher eye and the student eye.
Okay, and then I have a follow-up question. Sorry. So, how do you want to use the TPAC for the students?
No, the TPAC, I think framework would be only for the teachers.
For the teachers. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome, Brian.
Hi,
Thank
Brian.
you for attending.
It seems I missed Shireen's talk. I am so sorry. The groups, the breakout rooms are off from each other in time. So
yeah.
No problem. We are happy you are here. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, please, Zaira.
Do you plan to focus only on a dimension of the model, or are you going to evaluate all the dimensions? I don't know, for example, the pedagogical knowledge, or are you going to try to evaluate all the dimensions?
From the TPAC model, you mean?
Yeah, from the TPAC.
No, in the lesson planning, I'm trying to visit the three aspects: the technological aspect, the pedagogical, and the content aspects. So, of course, yes, I think I will visit both three.
Okay.
The three.
The technological part.
Yes, the technological and its impact on the content that the teachers want to present, and also on the pedagogical way they want to present it. So whether it's inquiry-based or discovery-based. Or like
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Thank you, Brian. I can give you the talk later. So.
Okay, maybe we can move to the next speakers, Seri.
Yes. So I think the next speaker would be Lisa Kuka and Sandra Leitner from Austria.
Yes, so it's me. I'm presenting alone, but it's our project.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll share my screen.
Sure, please.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Lisa Kuka, and I'm presenting what we have planned. With we, I mean my colleague Sandra Leitner and me. We are both at the very beginning of our PhD studies. And in our study, we want to research hybrid teaching in Upper Austria. So what is the situation in Austria like at the moment? We had 2 lockdowns because of COVID, one in March to May last year, and the other one from November.
About how good learning can take place. How does this overlap? Yes. Any more?
Okay. I do have a question. Thank you for your presentation. It was very interesting. I just want to ask you, what are the next steps of your research? What have you planned?
Okay. I did my pilot interviews on my own school because it was easy to access. And now I'm redefining my my model, which is also the basis for my coding book. So I always have these little parallels. I do qualitative research with content analysis. And from my first pilot interviews, I see that the things that I thought would be relevant sometimes are not the things that come up in the interviews. So I adapted it, and now I want to, my next step I'm going to do, of all the schools that participated in this data project, data feedback project, I want to do more interviews. This is maybe the first thing to consider, and from the analysis of the interviews, it would be interesting, what do I need to know about the school, because sometimes it's an observation thing. The architecture, do they have rooms where they meet, do they have times where they discuss such things? Not everything you find in interviews. Some things is just you have to be at that place to get a feeling for it. How they connect as a teaching community, and then I would just see if there are patterns from school to school that are different or alike, and then see how I go from there.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Further questions for Petra? No further questions. Then I think we can thank Petra again for presenting this this ongoing starting project, and wish her good luck with everything.
Thank you.
And from the timing, I think we are also at the end of this 10 minutes discussion time. So maybe I hand over again to Petra to introduce our last speaker.
I can do it, or you can do it. I don't. Okay, I will do it. So thank you for doing the session, Chair Ives, and I can introduce to you Marina Rottenhofer. and she's doing a presentation on the educational pyramid scheme, a sustainable way of bringing innovations to school. Thank you, Marina.
Okay, thank you very much. I will share my screen. Yeah. Oops. Okay, can you see my presentation now?
Perfectly well.
Perfectly well. Okay, great. So welcome to my presentation about the educational pyramid scheme, which is an innovative training model, a teacher training model. My name is Marina Rottenhofer. I'm a PhD student in my second year here at the Johannes Kepler University in Linz. I also work in 2 different projects at the JKU, and originally I'm a language teacher, yes, and now over detours I came into the field of STEM education. So before I talk about the educational pyramid scheme, I want to give you some background information. So the educational pyramid scheme, I would just call it EPS for the rest of my presentation. The EPS is a product of our project Modeling at School, which is an Erasmus Plus project. It started in November 2018 and lasts until October 2021, so a few more months to go. And yes, so our team, you can see it here, it's Dr. Barbara Savica, which is the head of our team, then Heike de Male-Meusel and I. We collaborate with our partners from the University of Jyväskylä with Dr. Christoph Fenniveshi as the head of the team and his colleague Tina Mäkelä, and also with the University of Rey Juan Carlos, which is in Madrid, Spain, with Gregorio Robles, let's say it's Spanish, as the head of the Spanish team. So, and we work with, as the name already reveals, we work with models as a teaching and learning strategy. And in detail, we work with models from the field of computer science and use it as an innovative teaching and learning strategy for children from primary school up to higher secondary school. And with this learning strategy, we want to bring computational thinking into different school subjects. And yes, we work with different models. For example, here's the entity relationship diagram or the class diagram, which is part of the UML, Unified Modeling Language in Computer Science, or one of my favorite ones, the activity diagram. Activity diagram is great to work with algorithms, to show processes, or in the language classroom, for example, grammar rules. Okay, in this case, you can see how it's possible to organize a homeschooling day and to get an overview in order not to forget some of the tasks. So, and now in our project, we do have an innovation, which is modeling in this case. And now we have the challenge to bring this innovation in a short time to into the educational system and to reach as many teachers as well as students as possible. Yeah, there's one problem in the school system. The teacher training often is short term. So teachers come into an institution and have a 2 to 3 hour workshop. And often this has a low impact or is not very sustainable, especially if you want to convey an innovation or a complex topic such as computational thinking. So, and we were thinking about how to escape this vicious circle, and we came up with the educational pyramid scheme. Yes, and now I want to show you the pyramid scheme in detail. So the educational pyramid scheme consists of 5 main pillars. The first and very important one is that we do not only focus on teachers in our training sessions, we also focus on pupils and students in the teacher training program. And we also do have different levels in our training system, and I will talk about that more in detail, yes, in a few minutes. And the second pillar is that we establish a benefit system so that everybody gets something from the training. So, and I come to that in detail. So in the pyramid scheme, we do have different levels. So we do have multipliers, which can be teachers, students, researchers. Then we do have mentors, which most of the time are teachers or students who are currently doing their internship at school. And then in the third level, we do have the pupils. So the multipliers are those who are the link between us, so the link between the training institution, the university, and the school. They bring this innovation into the school, they spread the information, they promote it, and try to gain as many mentors and tutors as possible to take part in the training. Then the second level is the mentors, and they closely collaborate with the teachers, which are the pupils, and they implement this new innovation immediately in their subjects. And the mentors are they support the tutors, and tutors should develop own workshops or teaching material, and they should train their classmates with the support of the mentors. Yes, and the benefit system can be, need to be adapted according to the needs or the environment. In our case, it could be training units or like a certificate in basic digital education in Austria, or promotion for gifted students, and so on. So, and then back to the pillars. There's the third pillar, which is the provision of continuous support. So we do have the multipliers who are at school, the responsible persons at school. However, they are in close contact with the training institution, so with us in this case. And we do have weekly consultation hours, and we can support them. Then the fourth pillar is that we use brain-based and innovative didactical methods for sustainable learning. So we use peer teaching to spread the information and the knowledge to as many people as possible. And then a very crucial pillar is the mandatory implementation in their own school system or a school setting. So they get an input where they get to know the innovation, then they have the practical phase, and then the practical phase is being reflected. And also they work with their own teaching materials, and during the practical phase, they implement the innovation in their own teaching materials. Let's say it like that. Yes, and now I want to show you our first results. So in fall 2018, we started with the first pilot phase. We worked with different tutors, multipliers, and mentors of our partner schools. We do have 5 in our project. And yeah, the tutors they got a workshop, and then they had to implement the models in a workshop in their schools. So the tutors were 12 to 14. So, and then we met again, and we had a reflection phase. They were presenting their results. And yes, I want to give you, show you some of the results. So they said it's really important since they are not, since it's one of the first workshops they had, it's very important to be prepared and to be an expert in their content themselves. And also it's very important that they get support from their mentors and that they get advice how to hold workshops in their classes. And also it's important that they get supported by the school and that they have time to collaborate with the mentors, parents, with the mentors outside of class, and to be able to inform the parents and the principal. Yes, and overall the feedback was very positive. Yes, and we are looking forward to do our next round, maybe, yeah, when the pandemic ends, and hopefully we get more results by then. So at the end, I'd like to do a little bit of promotion. So please follow us on social media. You can gain our interesting videos and pictures of different models and so on. And also, since the because of the pandemic, we needed to change. Yeah, of course, many things in our project, and we need to switch to online workshops and so on. And to spread the diagrams, we launched a competition or a diagram guru challenge, and this will be online soon. So students from 10 to 19 can take part in this challenge, and it would be great if you could share this information to your little friends, children, nieces and nephews, and more information you can find soon on our social media platforms and on our homepage. So that's it. I'm looking forward to your questions and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Marina. The board is open for questions. One small thing before the social media things. I already in the meantime I edited on my phone. Is it expected for children or adults, and what age group if children?
The social media accounts are for children and teachers alike. So we posted content from primary school level up to higher secondary. So everyone, I think everyone finds something interesting, and the challenge is from students or pupils from 10 to 19.
Okay, thank you. So questions, please, if you have any.
I have a question. Yeah, Marina, thank you very much for your nice presentation. It was very innovative and with lots of cartoons and all these things. It's very interesting to watch your presentation. My question is that what kind of challenges you come across when you implement this project?
Sorry?
What kind of challenges you come across when you implement this project?
You mean the education pyramid scheme in school? Yes. The challenge was, like, one of the biggest challenges was the COVID-19. So we did the pilot phase, yeah. And then we wanted to do like and the next phase, and then yeah, COVID-19 started. So this was the heart of our project, actually, the second phase. And yeah, we needed to come up with a completely different solution, and it's very hard to keep the pyramid running online. So to reach teachers and to get multipliers, especially in this difficult situation, because they have other things to do right now and to think about, and not about how to implement this new innovative training model, let's say like that. So we really hope that after when the pandemic is over, that we can try it again and do a second phase, like a real life implementation.
Yeah,
yes.
I think this is the common problem all researchers come across at this moment. Yeah.
And also another challenge is not a challenge, but it's what is the most crucial part is that you gain multipliers who are motivated. So because the multipliers are the ones who are the link between you, the university, and the schools, and the ones who gain mentors and pupils. And if they are not motivated, it's really hard to reach them. Yeah, because then it starts running without you. So they are at school and they have the overview over everything.
Sometimes from my research experience, it's hard to convince the school heads. This could be one of the obstacles that we come across, because not all the school heads are very positive about researchers and things like that, because I'm also doing a project involving GeoGebra. And many of this, although some of the schools are using GeoGebra already, but in practical, we see the other reality. We face with other realities. The ground reality is different from what we expect.
Yeah, that's true. I'm totally with you. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, but in our project, we do have partner schools, and that's easier then. But the next step would be to reach even more, and that's a big challenge. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, anyway, thank you.
I just got the notification that the breakout session will end soon. So if we get interrupted, don't panic. We will see each other in the main room. I just had to point out that it's such a good coincidence that your presentation was after mine. So this might be the solution. And also, when it comes to data feedback, they found out that the best way is to install data teams with one X, like your multiplicator, a person from outside that kind of monitors, and he or she is not involved so much in the whole structure.
Discussion.
We were in the middle of the discussion.
Oh, should we add some time for you? Like we can open the rooms again.
That would be great also for us.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
I will open the rooms again. I'm so sorry that this happened. We should have added time.
Hello again.
Hi.
It's nice that you also came back, so we have the opportunity to at least finish and do an end that you deserve for this presentation. Okay.
Petra, I have a sub question, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can speak.
Okay, thank you. I just opened the websites and saw some document, and thank you very much for your very interesting presentation, Marina. I saw you were presenting quite big project between Austria, Finland, and Spain.
Yeah.
And actually, my question is: the targeted country or the targeted student is only for those three, or for Europe, or actually international audience can also join this project? I mean, maybe Indonesia can participate in the project.
Yeah, if you have contact and if you're interested in, we could talk about it later. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yes, I mean the students. Can the student, maybe Indonesian student or teachers, participate maybe in your online online course
I will
or another application?
know. I will let you know because the target group was originally our partner countries. However, we're still in the development of the challenge, so it's launched soon, and I will let you know. Maybe there's a possibility because that would be great if other countries are interested as well.
Okay, thank you
I
so
will
much.
let you know. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
In general, it's a good opportunity if you want to stay in contact with one of the presenters. There's a link to a Padlet on the GeoGebra web page. If you didn't write down the email address, but please connect, stay in contact, cooperate. It's the mission, right?
Important, Professor. We did our
I am very
PhD together.
fortunate.
Oh, everyone is back. It was quick.
Yeah, but it was not on. We are not back on purpose because again the breakout sessions closed down.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had to return.
Oh, I will. What? I don't know what settings it was. I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
It is again saying
This time there was a timer, which is also nice. It was a 1 minute timer.
Oh,
But I don't know how it happened.
game going out, coming in.
Yeah, that's true.
This jumping gets annoying.
Yeah, it would be better to meet real life.
Welcome again, Petra. You can continue.
I was not sure. I'm sorry. I was really confused whether we go back or not.
Petra always gets interrupted.
Maybe I should just not talk anymore, but I'm stopping the recording. It's maybe a good idea.
I think you were talking about the Padlet, right?
Yes.
I think you relaunched the recording, Petra.
I
guess it got stopped when we left the session.
Okay, then.
Because it's saying recording on the top left.
I see it. It's telling me that it's only stopping when this meeting is finished.
Ah, okay. No worries.
So yes, just to repeat myself, if you want to get in contact, either write us, find us, or use the Padlet on link on the GeoGebra website. And that was it. And thank you for this really, really nice session and discussion where everybody contributed. I thought it was really good, and also the topics were really fitting together. Should we go back to the main room, or is there anything you want to further discuss?
No, thanks, Petra, for leading this session.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, then we
Thank you for all the lovely presentations and for chairing the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we see each other in the big room, and then I think there's going to be a break.
Yes, see you there.
See you.
Conference, you should join it. So I was so happy to be here.
Very nice to see you. So
yeah,
you are welcome to join our group. So I hope that you are not back unintentionally.
Time it was intentionally.
Yeah, so good. So Charmaine, so if you would like to join our group,